Skirts with pockets. Check out these beautiful skirts with pockets. A glimpse of gender equality through pockets. Throwback to the Middle Ages. Both men and women lugged around little pouches that were slung from a rope, allowing them to carry any essentials around with them. Clothes had little slits, which meant you could easily access your pouch without having to throw off yards of material. In a sense, during this period, men and women were equal in terms of their rights to pockets. Then came along the grand 17th century idea of sewing these pouches right into your clothes, enabling the wearer to conceal the items they were carrying and keep them close to their bodies. The pocket was born. However, unlike men's pockets, which were easily accessible and sewn right into the linings of their coats, waistcoats, and breeches, women still had to rely on having separate pockets that sat underneath their petticoats. For a bit of context, according to the Victoria and Albert Museum, the average 17th century woman wore a petticoat and 2 layers of undergarments. Her pocket would be tied around her waist, in between her underpetticoat and petticoat. Women essentially had to get undressed to access the contents of their pockets, so even if they could carry their personal items around with them, they couldn't get them out in public, and thus, the inequality of men and women's pockets was born. As women's fashion evolved in the 1790s, the pocket slowly began to disappear as more figure-hugging dresses came into fashion. Women had to revert to having their pockets on show to the world, opting for small decorative bags called reticules that could scarcely fit a hanky and a coin. This was essentially an embodiment of the fact that women had next to no access to money or property, therefore wouldn't need a functional pocket. There are even rumors that during the French Revolution, both the external and internal pocket was banished from women's clothing to prevent them from concealing revolutionary material. Women's pockets essentially disappeared because their husbands would carry all their money and necessities. After all, women were just meant to sit at home, drinking tea, preparing meals for their husbands, and knitting little jumpers for their hordes of children. The 20th century pocket revolution. The turn of the 20th century, however, brought on women's rebellions. Instruction manuals of how to sew pockets into your skirts became more and more popular as women increasingly sought after independence. In the 1800s, there were campaigns led by the Rational Dress Society fighting for women's clothing to be more functional. A 1910 suffragette suit with no less than 6 pockets became all the rage. As the world wars were sparked, women turned to more practical clothing, with trousers and large pockets becoming the norm. Women were finally blessed with the pockets they had been campaigning for years before.